Well, gentlemen, it looks like the king is dead. I'm just kidding. It actually, I think the transmission's blown out on it, so we're going to be swapping out the transmission. I knew that the transmission was having problems, so we're going to go ahead and pull that transmission off while we're at it, and we're going to go ahead and get the new transmission set up and dropped in. I'm going to go ahead and drive the transmission 100% stock, and I'm going to hook up the kickdown and everything, get it ready to go. And then if I can verify that everything in the transmission is working properly, I'm going to go ahead and drop the valve body and do some mods to it to get it a little bit more beefed up. So I'm going to put this thing back on the lift. We're going to go ahead and pull the drive shaft and drop the transmission. Yeah, that's not good. Yeah, safe to say this transmission shot. All right, so I finally got the transmission down. Let's go ahead and take a look at it real quick. I went ahead and removed the valve body to show you guys what I'm basically working with. So a lot of it has been washed down because I've been moving it around, but this whole area right here was full of band material there, and a lot of it has to do with this. So the snap ring either popped off or something happened here. I don't know, but it looks like a UFO and it's not working properly. So that's probably why I lost reverse. First gear was slipping, but it was still functioning. So this transmission is pretty much junk for right now. This thing needs a whole rebuild. This was my high performance transmission. I had this transmission rebuilt, I don't know, like 6-7 years ago. It was supposed to be super wazoo with like extra clutches and higher fluid pressures. It never really worked, and I installed a shift kit to try to get it to shift the way I wanted it to, and the shift kit worked, but line pressure was still way below where it needed to be. My oil pan was definitely my #1 concern because I had already punctured a hole through it, and while I had the car up on the lift, I might as well repair it. So what I did is I actually cut about 1 inch off the bottom of the pan and then welded a new bottom onto it. I also took the oil pickup and then cut about 1 inch off of that as well, and made sure everything fit properly before bolting it all back together. Aside from the transmission, there were just so many other things that I had to take care of before I can get this car out to the track. I went ahead and replaced the rear shocks, the front shocks, the sway bar bushings, and even my external balanced torque converter for a neutral balanced torque converter in order to eliminate the vibrations that I was getting. I also went ahead and got rid of my rear drag radials because after all, this is a street car, and I went ahead and installed a set of street tires. Because I'm expecting this car to travel over 100 miles an hour in the quarter mile, I wanted to make sure all my safety equipment was up to spec. Finally made it out to the track. We are at Willow Springs today. I'm going to be racing No Bolts Left Behind. This is actually going to be a rematch 1 year later with our cars. He's done a couple upgrades since the last time we ran. I've done a little bit of upgrades to the Dodge Charger. It's a really cold and windy day, so audio is going to be a little wrecked. You guys can see him right over there getting ready. He's running his drag radials, and I'm going to be running just some regular set of street tires. There's a lot of cars today. Hopefully we can get some runs in. We're going to be doing best out of 3, and I might be doing some warm-up laps before that, so we'll have to see. All right, I'm going to hope that you guys can hear me because I'm wearing my helmet right now. I'm going to go ahead and run against no bolts, and then we'll just do best 2 out of 3 with no bolts. So hopefully I do halfway decent. This will be my first test pass. Wish me luck. Quick recap of my first test pass. I was lined up next to No Bolts Left Behind. I had actually pulled timing down across the entire power band because I wanted to try to keep a safe tune in there so I wouldn't blow it up at the track. I realized that I ended up taking out too much and the car didn't have enough power to actually take off from a stop, and it ended up shutting off on me as soon as I made the hit. As soon as I realized what happened, I went ahead and tried to restart it. It took a little bit to restart, but I finally got it going, and then I was able to continue on and make my hit. I had to start the car off nice and easy because it was leaning out, and then once I made my actual hit, the air-fuel ratio was dead nuts, and I was able to go ahead and finish my run. Immediately after that pass, I went ahead and added some timing back in. I also added a little bit more fuel on the secondary squirter, and from then forward, it actually ran a lot better. I actually had a second race with no bolts left behind, but we lost the footage on that one, so I can't really speak on that. I had a final third hit at the track against a Tesla, and the car started off pretty lazy as usual because I realized that the torque converter that was in there was just way too low. I wasn't able to get enough RPM built up for the hit, and the car was just super lazy down the line. My first step from here forward is to actually get a properly sized torque converter, but after the car actually spooled up and started to make decent boost, and it actually started to make real power, the car was actually running really, really good up until it hit second gear.
I don't know, were you guys recording this last run with me?
I did.
When I hit second gear, the whole car spun. Did you guys see that or no?
I saw a little swirliness.
Yeah, as soon as I hit second gear hit, the whole car spun.
It is now the next day since getting back from the track, and I want to show you guys what I found. So I've got this straight piece of metal here, and I'm going to line it up on this body line, and I want to show you guys something. So if I line it up perfectly right here, and check out where this thing lines up on the tire. It ends up right there on the edge of the sidewall. So doing the exact same method, you guys can kind of see where I'm going with this. Line this thing up right here, go down, and look how much further in this piece of metal is. The one on the other side actually lines up over here. This one lines up here, but that's not the only thing. Pay close attention to this tire right here and check out these marks. You guys see those marks? Well, now check on the underside of my quarter panel, and you can see tire marks on the inside of the quarter panel. So what we guess is happening is that the car is actually twisting to the right upon acceleration, and then once it completes the 1-2 shift, the car ricochets over to the driver's side, and then that's when it bounces off the tire. I don't think I ever noticed it before because my old set of tires were the drag radials, and the drag radials are a smaller diameter, and so even if the back end was to come down, it never actually hit the tires. Now that I've got bigger tires on there, it's become a lot more obvious. Looking back at the original footage from when I raced no bolts, a very similar situation happened. I just didn't notice it because I wasn't going as fast. I have an aftermarket sway bar that I can install in the rear, and I've got to find a way to install a new torque converter. So that's all going to happen before we head out to Power Tour in 2 weeks. I hope I can get everything done in time. I will see you guys all in the next one. Night Wrencher signing out.